What is happening, guys? Just another breakdown from me, DJD Forex. I'm just going to quickly break down a move I caught today. I think it was 40 pips. I'm going to go through my entry confirmations and hopefully give you a better understanding of what I saw today and why I took my trade. So let's just jump straight in. Okay, let's go. Okay, well, actually, let me just show you my journal real quick so you can just see. Okay, this was today. I'll just quickly talk about it. So the first entry I took, I added 2 positions. I took an L on my first attempt. So this was the same basically attempt. And I added. I caught it on the second attempt, which is these 2 entries here. That was just something I opened and closed. And then I actually added to a winner later on in the day, which was this one. So a total of net $1,600 today on that. Yeah, and I was pretty happy with that, to be honest with you, considering we are in a bit of a range, but nonetheless, the intraday play was pretty clean. So we'll just jump into that now. Okay, right, let me just move this here. Right, cool. Okay, so let me quickly run you through my higher time frame confluences that basically gave me an idea of exactly where to take my trade from. I will start on the daily. And quite simply, we are in an uptrend. Currently, though, the counter is coming down. We had this massive impulsive move down towards this demand zone, which is basically holding here. So whether this is another higher low or whether we're going to go down further, we still need to come up to retest that to come down. So for me, this was a pretty good bounce play. So let's jump down to the lower time frames and quickly go through exactly what I saw. I need to move this out of the way so I can do that. Okay, cool. Right, let's get rid of this for a line. Okay, where we are. All right. Pretty simple. It was a London drop, which is one of the plays in my playbook. I will add the link so you can see the rules for that. It's a pretty simple play. Quite simply, a lot of my intraday plays revolve around what happens in the Asian session. So just to give you a quick overview of what the London drop is. All of this outer session ranging, right, for me is range liquidity, right? So what I look for, because I know that I'm basically looking for buys and I'm looking to go up, let's just draw a little trend line like that, boom. So because I'm looking for buys, my strategy says that this is range liquidity, okay? So this is a range, right? And what I'm looking for is a sweep of the range towards liquidity, find support, and continue to the direction that I believe that the market's going, which is up, right? Pretty simple play. So it is Monday. So all of this ranging is basically the out of session of pretty much Sunday night for me. So Monday morning, I've got a nice trade on my hands. Right, let me just get rid of this. Right, so quite simply, and also from last week, this was Friday. Oops, let me just put this over here. Okay, so from Friday's basically move, which I took off basically this support, it left a gap in the chart, right? Which I'm not a smart money concepts trader, but these fair value gaps, they really need, you really need to put some respect on these. So let me show you the gap that it left. I believe it was on the 1 minute chart. Boom. Nope, 5 minute chart. There it is. Nope, 1 minute chart. Sorry. So I have an indicator that basically leaves them on there for me. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, yeah, look, boom, there. Cool. You can see that, right? So that was still on the chart. So I know the price has got to come back to this at some point. Okay. Nope. Reset chart, let's go. All right, cool. I want to get this short and sweet for you guys. Right, confluences, right? So I'm looking for buys. Okay, price has made its way down and it's found support here, right? Now on Thursday, we made a high here, right? So what happened was price pushed up here, resistance, came back down, pushed up again, resistance, pushed up again, resistance, came down here, finally broke, okay? This became support, okay? And I actually took a move on Friday from here and took it up here like that. All right, so we have established a, a pretty decent support here. Price came back, support again, all right? Price came back, support again, all right? So we've established that we basically have a demand zone that is holding here, or a support, whatever you like to call it. But also another thing to take into consideration on the chart is we've also got resistance here, and here, here. So we're basically trading within a range. Right now, there's nothing wrong with ranges, especially with GJ. Trading ranges with GJ is really easy because GJ will push 50, 60 pips in a range, right? So even this move here, this is the one we caught today. I mean, that was 40 pips, I believe. So if you'd caught it there, took it to there, 43 pips, right? Lovely, easy trading in a range. You just literally look where the buying pressure is or the selling pressure, or you look if there is buying or selling pressure. Because there was a lot of pressure from underneath, literally all I'm looking for is a pullback. So let's just take off all these. All right, so I'm looking for buys, but where from? Right, so you can stack your confluences, you could make trend lines fit if you want to, but the real thing here that basically made me take my buy was this level of support. Now you can throw a fib on there if you want. Throw a fib there. And look at that. Price is coming down to the 61.8. Wow. 50% is holding. 61.8 is getting some love, right? Not only that, price seemed to be holding on the 181,500 QP, right? Holding really well. And obviously this level. So we've got, and also you can draw a trend line if you want. One, there we go. You can draw a trend, you can make a trend line fit wherever you want, to be honest with you. So I don't really rely on them too tough, but you've got one touch, two touch, so third touch, 80% chance of being respected. I wouldn't really take an entry just off of that, but it's you're stacking your confluence. It's giving you, it's giving you confidence. Right, so let me just get this fib off so we can have a bit more clarity of what's going on. Okie dokie. Right, so in this video, I'm just going to quickly break down what I saw for me to take an entry, which I believe is the move of the day, right? I caught this move here, and this is exactly what I saw. So I came to the charts here, and I saw all this range liquidity underneath here, right? So what I'm looking for, right, is an impulsive move towards some type of liquidity or some kind of support, and then a reversal and push in the direction of what I believe the trend is going. So that's exactly what happened here. This is called the London drop, which is basically in my playbook. I'll have a link in the description so you can have a look at the rules. But basically, jumping down onto the lower time frames, right? Actually, starting on the higher time frames, what I actually look for is exhaustion. So when I saw that price made this impulsive move towards this fair value gap, and I saw how price basically reacted off of it, as you can see on a 30-minute, price whipped into it and shot back up, right? So when I see something like this, I know that basically price has tried to come down here, and this level is holding. And I was pretty confident that when it took out this fair value gap, that's what it wanted, because it literally had quite a lot of quite a lot of selling pressure. And when it got down to here, it eased off and it just pushed back up. It literally pushed straight back up after it took out the gap. But I have an entry strategy where I basically trade the shift in momentum. But the first thing I have to see is price being pushed towards an area and then momentum basically reversing and going the opposite way. And I'll show you how to identify that on a smaller time frame. Okay, so I'm just going to jump onto the 1 minute, right? Okay, cool. So let's just recap. Come to the market around this time, okay? And I'm looking for an impulsive move towards something to take it out and then reverse and go up, right? And that's what I got here. Okay. So what I do is I'll go down to the 1 minute. All right, and this is what I saw. Okay. This is what I saw. Right, so this was the support that was holding, right? Price pushed down, broke through, wicked, took out this fair value gap, right? So let's get rid of that. Bang. Or took out the majority of this fair value gap, right? And then made a push towards the upside. Now, what I normally do is this. So when I see price coming down like this, what I'll do is I will mark out my little market structures like this, right? And what I'm looking for is the shift in momentum there. Bang, just happened. All right, that is what I trade. Very simple. All right, so the way I do that is when price makes its way down, I mark out lows and I use a red line like this. Very simple. Red line, point of invalidation. Bang. Yeah, so if price breaks this and keeps going, that was not the low, right? So in this instance, in that scenario, you would just keep moving your low down until you get what's called a failed low, right? That means it's not made a new low, right? This is what you're looking for. This is the first confirmation that you're looking for. Okay, so let's just go back. Okay, cool. So we marked out our low, and then I would also mark out my last swing high, right? So in this scenario, it is, I would say, you could put it there, all right? It's not very clear. Let me zoom in a little bit. Let's have a little look. Yeah, so down, up, down. There's your failed low. Yeah, that's basically a double bottom, right? This did actually happen quite quickly. I'm not gonna lie. So you do have to be quite on point, but not always, to be honest with you. But in this scenario, it did happen very quickly. Now, what I do is when I mark out my breakout line, what I'm looking for is a break and a retest and go, right? Sometimes you don't get this retest. So what I do instead is this. I go into a higher time frame. So I'll go into the 5 minute. And what I look for is a candle to break my breakout line. So when I get a 5 minute candle, break my line, I enter. So in this scenario, you really didn't have much of a chance. But also, if you can notice that we got a bullish engulfing here of this candle. So for me, this was a very strong entry signal, right? Not only has price pushed down towards this liquidity, taking out this gap, it's giving me a 5 minute bullish engulfing, and it's also closed over my breakout line. So quite simply, this candle closure is an entry. Plus, having price come back above this support. So on a smaller time frame, you had candles print underneath this line, but if you jump up the time frames, this just became a wick. Okay, so this is called a fail test, right? So this is when price pushes down, prints below, right? And then basically pushes back up and comes back into play. So this basically doesn't count as a candle closing over this line, because what happened was it just came back into play. Okay, so this is called a fail test, right? So fail test brought us back in, so which basically means that this level was respected, right? So this is a bit of a trick, because if you'd have seen this candle, some people would have seen this candle print, this black candle print below this line and said, okay, it has broken structure and now we're going to go down. But it's always important you see what happens with the next candle, and the next candle did shoot up and near enough nearly engulfed this candle. So it was an impulse move to sweep liquidity. It took out the fair value gap and it took out the liquid underneath here. So yeah, literally, this was a pretty easy trade, to be honest with you. The first L that I took, I mean, just for transparency, I never really get my trades on the first attempt anyway. I've never pretended to have you know, a high hit rate. My hit rate is probably about 50%, but my first entry was actually here, and I caught this push. So I actually thought this was the sweep. I actually thought this candle was the sweep, even though, you know, it wasn't much. And then I caught this push up here and I thought, oh, right, I've caught it. But then it came back down. So this is where I basically took those L's this morning, and I added as well. I think when it came to here, I added another position and then it basically clapped me out like around here. So that's the reason I took 2 L's, but that's cool because I'm net profitable on the day, and you don't have to have a massive like a high hit rate percentage. It's important that basically you keep your losses consistent and your risk to reward is good. So I mean, on this trade, I'll go into it after I've just explained the entry confirmations, but so just to recap, right? Oh, sorry. What I want to show you was this. This is another important thing, right? When you go to the higher time frame, so the 30-minute, just have a look at what we've got here. So this is the level. This half-an-hour candle, for one, you've got one half-an-hour candle here that has basically wicked down and come back up and rejected, right? You've also got a bit of rejection here, right? So you can tell this level is pretty strong. This is the candle that made the impulsive move towards the liquidity, right? But basically price shot it back up and it closed above this line like that with a green doji / hammer spinning top, whatever you want to call it. This in itself, right, is a candlestick pattern. So some people would call this like a morning star. But this in itself is a bullish candlestick pattern. And then literally straight after this candle printed, we got a little retest and a push up. And the move of the day happened here. So the move of the day was there, right? That was the push. And where did I TP? At this supply zone. Easy, easy. So push into liquidity and push up into this supply zone. Simple, very simple. And all I was looking for to start off with, I mean, I did get tricked because look, let's be honest, right? So this candlestick pattern here, right? Can you see it? This is also a morning star, right? So you've got a black candle, so it's like a bearish candle with a wick on the bottom. Then you've got a bullish candle that comes down, gets pushed back up. It's basically a hammer. And then you've got an engulfing candle, which basically took out all of that. So for me, I'm sorry, I thought I've nailed it here. And I'm like, yes, I've caught it on the first attempt. And then so when it came back down here like this, of course I added, because why? Because I thought that basically it's just retesting this engulfing. So sorry, I'll just draw it on there for you. I thought price was coming back to retest this because, oops. So when price came back down, I thought it was retesting that to keep going, and it did. Look, I got a wick, and I thought, yeah, I definitely caught this, but then it kept going. But I knew there was stuff down here. I knew there was liquidity, so I'm not mad at myself for second attempt, right? But the trade idea was correct. A sweep of what I thought the liquidity was there, okay, which is this did, but it was greedy. It wanted more. It just took out all of that, okay? So, but I had a fair value gap here, which I knew was a target for liquidity. So second attempt, not mad at myself about that. Okay, cool. So let me go back. Let me recap. So let's just quickly recap. So the 3 things you're looking for, okay, for the London drop play, right, is liquidity to be taken out. Okay, so there's the liquidity, an impulsive move down, okay, to sweep, and then a push towards the direction of the trend, right? And a couple of things that are very important about this is you must have seller's exhaustion, all right? Seller's exhaustion, clear as day there, and it needs to be minimum on the 15-minute time frame, all right? That's the first thing you need to see, Okay, now when we jump down onto the 5-minute, what I would like to see, what allows me to take my entries is a change in direction, okay, a shift in momentum, which can be demonstrated as a 5-minute candle breaking the 1-minute market structure. Okay, so they are the 3 things you need for a good reversal or a London drop play. You need price to be pushed into liquidity, liquidity to be taken out, and then a change of direction in the direction of the trend. Like that. Okay. Textbook, absolute textbook. Okay, right, let's keep it moving. So I took this trade up to here, which is the supply zone, and then it reacted off of there and came back down. I then took another entry here, right? Because I think I had a fair value gap. Yep. Okay, so I had a fair value gap here, and price came back into it. Okay, so when this pushed off like this, I knew it had to come back because it had to fill this gap. Okay, this is what this is. It's called a fair value gap, right? So price did come back into here, and it also came down and wicked that. Okay, so I didn't catch an entry here. I actually caught an entry around this area. So this was my second entry, actually third entry, because I actually caught 2 here. So I had 2 entries off of this, and then when this came down, I closed here, and then when it came back down here, I took another entry and I rode this little push up here, and I TP'd again at the same place. Like, it's not rocket science, but you just got to have confidence in what you're doing. So I knew price was coming down here, right? And then what I needed to see was price make a push towards the upside, and it literally did. It literally created like another fair value gap. I mean, I'm not a smart money concepts trader, but these fair value gaps, you have to put some respect on their name. All right. So when this made this push here, it created another fair value gap, right? Which meant, right, that price, so let's get rid of this one. It just meant that price had to come down and fill it. So this is what it did here. So I literally took an entry. Now, I wouldn't normally do this, right? This was actually the first time I've ever done this. I took an entry here when it filled the gap and it just went down. So let's just measure. I mean, drawdown from there to there, 4 pips. I went into 4 pip drawdown, all right, to catch a, so I actually got my entry around there. I mean, I took it back up to there. That's a 20 pip move for a 4 pip drawdown. Like, do you know what I mean? That's I'm not being funny. Like, that's a decent move. 21 pips. So 4.7 to 1. I mean, I only hit it with a 5 lot, but I don't trade smart money concepts, but I'm gonna have a look at it because you got to respect that R to R. So yeah, literally again, right? So price is being pushed into an area to take out the liquidity, and then it wants to make its move. There was a lot of choppiness here, though. I'm going to be honest with you. This wasn't comfortable holding in this range, but I did, and I TP'd here, and I was done for the day. Oh, sorry, actually, I think I TP'd here on this wick. Sorry, I didn't hold it to here. I literally held it to this wick. Sorry. As soon as it hit there, I TP'd. And again, my confluences for entering were literally price coming to here to fill this gap, and then when price made a move towards the upside, it had work to do. It had to come back, and I just entered here, and just kept it moving and TP'd here. Sorry, so it wasn't a 20 to 1. Sorry, it wasn't a 20 pip move. It wasn't a 4.7 to 1. It was a, my bad, guys. Sorry, 17 pips, but still a 3.5 to 1. I can't argue with that. I cannot argue with that. That was a good little play. And then I was done. I was done for the day, to be honest with you. Now, GJ like can range between here. Okay. Now, this isn't nice. These wicks, I mean, these wicks are not giving me confidence in this buy for a swing, but at the minute, the market is not swinging. Even if GJ does this, even if GJ goes up, retests this and comes down, this is still a good move. So I will still be looking for buys, but I am also getting a bit wary now because this range has to give. It's either going to break, retest and go up here and then come down, right? Or it's going to range, break, retest, and go down, or it's going to range, break, retest, and go, and keep going. Okay, so there's a few scenarios that can happen here, but I will trade my intraday play as I always do, and I look for the same thing pretty much every day. So yeah, that's it basically, guys. I just wanted to keep it short and sweet because a few people said they want to see a breakdown. I mean, if you are trading, you're new to trading. When I first started trading, this was like literally talking in another language. But now, because I know what I'm looking for, it's a lot easier. I mean, I'm not going to say I've mastered it, but one thing is I know my move and I know what I'm looking for. And I know the right market conditions for my move to work. So yeah, yeah, if you have any questions, guys, please just add me on Instagram. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like the channel. And I will keep doing these videos for you guys because I hope that, you know, some of the gems I just drop can help other people. And just a reminder that nothing that I say here is original. I didn't make any of this stuff up. I learned this from other people. So yeah, don't be scared to reach out and ask me about it because I'm here to share and I'm here to help. So yeah, that's it from me, guys, and I will see you later.